I'm not gonna lie. The hair is thriving, y'all. The locks are locking. So y'all know I locked my hair in 2020 and it's been no looking back, and I never really see like how full and long my hair is until I take it out of the 2-strand twist. And I took it out of the 2-strand twist this weekend and it's been like super interesting seeing it out of the 2-strand twist and seeing the full volume and length of my hair. So this is 4 years. I celebrate 4 years of being locked this month, and I'm not mad at my decision. I'm very, very happy with my decision to lock my hair. This is like the healthiest my hair has been in years. So it's great. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Hey y'all, it's Ashley Bookish Realm, and I'm back with another video. It's always interesting sitting back in front of the camera because I'm not filming as frequently as I have in the past, and it's kind of a change up for me. I like it because I feel like I am relaxing more in my free time instead of being so worked up about filming, but it's always weird sitting down and filming and trying to get the feel for being in front of a camera. It's very interesting. It's like I'm getting out of practice of doing it because I'm not doing it as frequently, but nevertheless. So I'm here because I have been seeing some things on TikTok, primarily coming from Rachel, and once again kind of wanting to circle back to this point that even I talk about it a lot in my professional life, and it's a conversation that I have weekly in my professional life. It's not something that I have been talking about lately on my channel, and honestly I haven't been doing much on my channel lately, so it's not a surprise that I haven't also been talking about this. But y'all, listen, banning hasn't stopped. Okay, it's getting worse. Last year was a record high for the amount of book banning that has been happening across the country. And as I always say, as a lot of us say that are part of this community that actively speak about book banning and book challenging, is that it's a culture war that the United States is currently in the middle of. And I'm just gonna go ahead and knock this out the way because I've been getting a lot of comments. It's the algorithm playing with it, and depending upon like what is happening in current society, a lot of what is happening in the news politically, I think YouTube will shift its algorithm because people are searching for certain things. And so a lot of my videos related to book banning, book challenging, those discussion videos that I've done in the past, they get these very interesting comments. And you know, me a year ago, I would engage a lot more often, because usually when I engage, people just kind of disappear from my channel because I can get quite nasty and rude, and it is what it is. It's my energy. It is who I am, because you're not gonna come in here and disrespect me and think that I'm gonna keep it classy with you. I wish I was a classy bitch like that, but I'm not. So there's that. But also, I've lately just not have been, I just don't have the capacity. So before I get into why I think it's important that we as a community, as a book community, continue to have these conversations and to continue in dialoguing and being aware of what's happening in our smaller pockets of communities, if you're gonna come on here and tell me that there's no such thing as book bannings because access is not really totally removed, I want you to go ahead and remove yourself from my channel. Because the thing about it is that just because I and a lot of us in this community still have the ability to go out and purchase these books that are getting banned and challenged, does not mean that the people who are being affected have that same ability. Let's go ahead and cut the shit, because I'm tired of seeing those comments and saying that we don't really know what book banning and book challenging is, because of the fact that, hey, you know, you can still actively go out and buy the book. The point of the matter is that a lot of these kids who should have access to these books, a lot of these community members who should have access to these books, typically cannot go out and afford to buy. It's intentional. Like, let's use common sense here. I know that common sense is not that common, but if you're going to be a willing participant in this channel, I need you to just have a lick of sense, just a smidge, just a little bit, like just a little bit, because y'all finna piss me off at this point. Just because those of us that have a certain level of wealth and a certain level of privilege in this world can still go out and buy these books that are getting challenged and banned does not mean that the communities that are getting impacted have that same privilege. And it's very intentional to make sure that certain parts of these communities do not continue to have access. For a lot of these kids who need these books to be able to see themselves and to see out into the world, they do not have the financial capability to go out and buy these books once they're removed from libraries, because that's what libraries are for. And so if you're going to engage in the foolery on this channel, unless you want me to drag you for fucking filth on Beyonce's internet, and I know YouTube is going to flag the hell out of this video because I've cussed so much in the first 5 minutes, go ahead, unsubscribe, move along, because I'm not finna deal with this. Like, you just will get blocked at this point. The foolery is absolutely ridiculous. And I often don't talk about the comments that I get on my channel because it's the internet. People are not gonna like you. People are gonna move how they're gonna move, and people are gonna have their feelings. Personally, I'm at the point of my life, you know, getting into my mid-30s. I really don't give a fuck how you feel. But on this, y'all come to my channel sometimes, and not y'all who are like constant watchers who openly engage. And I'm not saying that you have to agree with everything that I put out into the world. But there are people who find me through the algorithm who come here with absolutely foolish things, who will see a title of the video and make a comment and don't even listen to the video from beginning to end, who are such huge advocates for challenging and banning books and removing access. They will say anything to make their point heard. I'm not here for it. We're not going to agree to disagree. You just go hop the fuck off my channel and leave me alone, and go find someone who you can have a dialogue with and have a conversation with that's willing to listen to your bullshit. I'm not the one. I'm tired of it. I really am. Because there are a lot of us who see a lot of this stuff on the front line and how it impacts communities and how it's impacting children. And at this point, we really don't give a fuck how you feel or what you have to say at all. We really don't. Not at all. I'm tired of keeping it classy. I'm tired of keeping it professional. It's a done deal. It's a done deal here. Like, I'm up to here with it. So anyway, moving on to the point of this video. I just had to get that off my chest because even in lieu of me not uploading content as frequently as I have in the past, I have been getting a lot of comments on those past videos with people just spewing hatred. And it's wild because anybody's a warrior behind a keyboard. Anybody's a warrior behind a keyboard. But if we were face to face, would you hold that same energy? 9 times out of 10, most of you wouldn't. So if you're not going to keep the same energy, if you were to see me in person, don't say it over a keyboard. Don't do that. Let's not have these problems. I have to agree with Rachel, who's actively been talking about the fact that if you are invested in anything in the bookish sphere, book banning should be something that you are interested in hearing about, something that you should be aware of, because as passionate as we are about books, you would think that book banning and book challenging would be of an interest to everyone. And it's not, and I can't force you to be interested in it. I can't force you to engage. I can't force you to advocate. As I have said a million times before this year, I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. Do I think you should be interested? Yes, because it's for the good of the community that we're all interested in what is happening on a national level and how it's impacting access to books, and recognizing kind of the privilege that some of us have in being able to walk into a bookstore and drop $500, or in an instance like me, working somewhere where my access to the latest books has not been limited by any legislation or by, you know, any type of funding that, you know, cut funding or anything like that. So that in itself is a privilege. But I know that there are people who are maybe not creators in this bookish spaces, but maybe viewers, people who love to read, who this is impacting. And I think it's important for us to continue the conversation because it helps to continuously raise awareness. It helps us recognize how detrimental this is to all of us, especially to kids. I can't tell you how important, and I know I probably said this 1,000,001 times, but I think it's something worthy to note. I can't tell you how important and impactful it was for me to see myself in a book, right? I can't tell you how important and impactful it was for me to be able to see the experiences of others in books. That essence of empathy, of understanding someone else's experiences, and then feeling validated, seeing my own experiences on a page. As a child, that is a huge part of your social emotional development. And I don't think people understand how detrimental that is to a child's development. The books that you see for an elementary, middle grade, high school audience have been reviewed legitimately and have been selected legitimately by professionals, okay, who make very serious and careful decisions to make sure that these books are put in the hands of the target demographic. That we don't have a 6-year-old picking up a book intended for a 14-year-old. That's not how it works. I think it is a slap in the face to professionals like myself who have been trained, who have the degrees and have the skill sets to be able to differentiate what is appropriate for a 5-year-old and what is appropriate for a 14-year-old. This country is telling us that we do not have that skill set, that we are perverted, and that we want to harm children, when a lot of us are in the jobs that we do because we love seeing children build a love for reading. We love seeing children build that confidence in themselves. We love seeing children build that empathy, those connections with different cultures, different people, getting the critical thinking skills they need to have in order to have conversations like we're having right now, to be able to go out into the workforce or whatever they decide to do post-secondary school and work with people who are different from themselves. There's so much to be said about these books that are being challenged and banned, and a lot of times, and more than a lot of times, I would say 85 to 90% of the times, these books have Black and brown representation and queer representation, and those experiences are being touted as invalid. How we don't as a community recognize how detrimental that is, as a community that likes to claim that they are inclusive and diverse, and you have another generation of kids who maybe want to get on Book Talk when they get older, maybe want to be a part of Bookstagram, maybe want to be a part of BookTube, and their access to books is being limited and taken from them. This is not so much about us as adults, because we have the financial liberty, and not always, because like, for example, I don't have the financial liberty to buy any book that I want to buy right now. But if I want to get a book, I could find a way to get a book. The same can't be said for a 10-year-old who is thinking about the complicated aspects of their identity and wanting to see it on page and wanting to see, did someone else go through this the same way that I did, and can't really talk about those things with whatever adults are in their household. They don't have that same luxury as us. So it is not about us. This is about the next generation of kids being able to have the appropriate amount of access to books as possible. As I always say, it comes down to parenting, okay? You should be knowing what's moving in and out of your house. That always blows my mind, because at the end of the day, like, your kids are seeing a lot of things that they probably have no business seeing. But it's up to you as a parent to have that dialoguing that you should be having, with the age-appropriate dialogue with your child, And you should be knowing what is happening in your household, what is moving in and out of your household, what your child is reading. And if your child feels like they have to sneak something into your household, but then that's another conversation for a different day. And I'm going to say that as a parent, not to say that kids don't do sneaky things and that there are going to be moments when you're not going to know that something's happening, but to say that access should be stripped of every child because you don't want your child to see it is wild to me. Y'all won't help parents with anything else. And yeah, I'm gonna get a little personal here because it blows me. Daycare is so expensive right now that to send a child to daycare for a month is a mortgage payment, right? I pay them a mortgage payment on my child's daycare, then pay a mortgage payment on my house. That doesn't exclude any type of utilities, groceries, gas, extracurricular activities, etc. And that's not me saying I need somebody to take care of my child. I am begging for government assistance. But what is funny to me is that you want to tell me how to parent my child when it comes to books, but you're not even making sure that my child is comfortable, fully clothed, fed, the important things now. That my child is safe and housed and has food in their stomach and is comfortable. You're not worried about that stuff. You won't put any legislation in to take care of those things. As a matter of fact, they're fighting right now with the child tax credit, CTC 2024, whether it's going to pass and parents with kids under a certain age are going to get assistance from the IRS or federal government that will come through the IRS. We all are battling over that. But it seems easy peasy when you would want to enact legislation about whether a child should read a book or not, because it's going to corrupt the child. Forget whether they're impoverished. Forget whether they have clean clothes on their back. Forget whether they have a roof over their head or food in their stomach. We're more concerned about what that child is reading. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. And so I think as a community, the reason why I agree here in the sense that we should constantly be talking about this and that we should be engaged in dialoguing. Once again, I'm adding it here. I can't force you to do it. You're going to do what you want to do. But this is my opinion of, like, I think it would be good for the benefit of all of us is that I just want us to think about if we were in that position. We love to read, okay? We're readers. We're a community of readers. Imagine all the books that you've come across that have brought you joy, that have given you passion, that have given you life, that have given you breath. Imagine if someone came to you and just told you they don't like what's in those books, so we're taking them from you and there's no way that you can ever get access to them again. It's an interesting thing to think about because you don't have to worry about that. But there are young readers who want to be where we are. And I'm talking about like subscribers and all that superficial shit. I'm talking about this passion for reading and it's being taken from them. They can't pick up and read what they want to read. And I'm not talking about you have a middle school library offering Colleen Hoover. Nobody in their right mind is doing that, okay? But not even being able to pick up a regular old middle school book because someone doesn't like that a character is queer or that a book is talking about the Black experience and it makes white kids feel bad. Like, what they're hoping is that people will shut up. They will forget that it's happening. That way they can silently move and do whatever they like. Y'all, it is not getting better. It's getting worse. It is getting worse. People are bringing just list upon list upon list of books to libraries and formally challenging them and trying to get them removed. Or they're telling people, like, if the book has queer representation in it, take it out of the children's section and it has to be in the adult section. I can't be a one-woman show. I do a lot of this conversation outside of this. It is, like I said, book challenging and book banning is something that we are very conscious of on a daily basis. And it's something that I'm very conscious of on a daily basis because of my job. As someone who works in collections, I have to be actively aware of it. And it's so sad to be in a position where you're looking at a book and you have to fight self-censorship because you're like, dang, if I buy this book, is someone going to challenge it? That's where that's gotten. And so as someone who has to think about this daily because of the role that I play, the job that I have, it's interesting how there's only a handful of people who will continuously talk about this stuff. And like I said, and I'm going to keep saying it, my eye is going to start itching, of course, because my allergies are going to flare up in the middle of me shooting this video. Excuse me while I rub my eyeball out of the socket. And I'm getting congested. We have to remember at the end of the day that it's not just about the books itself, right? Like the books themselves. We are hindering and banning skill sets that these kids need to have. Primarily the one that I always think about is the ability to think and form opinions of your own. It's amazing that the same people who challenge and ban books always ask, oh, you're just sheep, you should have an opinion of your own. And yet you're taking away the things that can help build this new generation into a strong set of critical thinking humans. The math never maths in situations like this, but y'all, I won't stop talking about it. I never stop talking about it. Of course, y'all know during National Library Week, which is coming up, think about timing here. Timing. National Library Week will start the Sunday of the week that this video, whatever, you know, this is complicated. National Library Week is going to start in a few days. By the time you see this video, National Library Week will be gearing up to start in a few days. And I really want to invest some time in celebrating, uplifting, and recognizing the importance of libraries. I don't know what I'm gonna do content wise. I really don't. Who knows for me, but it's super unfortunate, and I wish more people recognize that. But I'm gonna leave some resources down below. Namely, a lot of the stuff that I am gonna provide you is gonna be coming from the American Library Association, and a couple of articles about some current cases that are going on across the nation. But continue to do your research. A lot of people ask me like, well, how do I help? Staying informed probably is one of the best things that you can do. If book banning is happening in your county, speak out. Support your local libraries. It's a little different with school libraries, where I think, you know, if you have family in those schools or whatever the case may be, it might help to be able to like attend school board meetings and stuff like that. But if you're seeing like your public library get a lot of book banning and challenging, like support them, speak out on their behalf. Make sure that they're getting proper funding to be able to continue to provide access. Write your local legislators. I know we say that all the time, but when you start to threaten these people and let them know like, you will not be getting my vote and I'm coming for your neck if you do this, and will make sure you do not get office, you're talking to their pockets. See, a lot of politicians, it's not about right or wrong, it's about talking to the money. And if you threaten to cut off the money, that's when people want to, you know, do what they're supposed to do at the end of the day, which is sad. But that is the country, that's the country that we live in, huh? But yeah, I would say definitely write your legislator, speak out, attend school board meetings if you can, library board meetings, make sure they're getting proper funding. If you can support by providing like free little libraries across your communities, I would suggest doing that. That way that people still can have access to those books. I know that some people do put out like, do kind of like, I don't, book drives-ish type of situations where they do donate these books or they pass out these books for free, especially in communities that are seeing a surge in book bans and book challenges. But just use your voice and use your platform if it is something that you in your heart of hearts do want to do. I don't foresee this necessarily stopping, because I think the US is in such a state of upheaval right now that this is the hill that a lot of people are willing to die on. And I don't think that they will ever let this go, because it is a level of control that people are enjoying at this point. And There are a lot of librarians who are losing their jobs, a lot of librarians who are getting doxxed, who put their livelihoods on the line to protect people's right to read, whether it offends us or not, whether we like it or not. Our jobs is to protect the right of every individual to read what they want to read and to have access to those materials. And a lot of people are putting literally their livelihoods on the front lines for that, just to protect that freedom. You want to talk about the Constitution, the right to do this and the right to do that. That is your right. That is your constitutional right. And sometimes you have to remind people that. But yes, I'm sorry I got a little nasty in the beginning, but I just had to because those comments have been building up and I literally have just been like blocking the people. But since I was going to talk about it again here, I thought that maybe I should bring up those comments again. Just remember that this community is bigger than what we think it is on the internet. And this community, the online bookish sphere, has a lot more impact than what we give it credit for. And so that's why I think it's important, especially with a younger generation of people coming up under us, who are not getting that luxury and access that we have. It's heartbreaking. But if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. And if you're looking to support the channel, all the links will be down in the description box below. And I'll be back with another video soon. Aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare 'cause the flames will burn.